We bring to order the meeting of the City of Weyburn Council held here today at the Council Chambers, 6 p.m., Monday, 24th of July. First thing that we'll start off with is approval of the minutes of the regular council meeting held here this July 10th.
I'll move, Your Worship.
Do you have a second?
I'll second that, Your Worship.
Discussion? Call the question. All in favor? Carried unanimously. Additions to the agenda? No additions to the agenda? Very good. Public hearings and notices, there are none here tonight. We have no original communications, delegations, or petitions here tonight. So we will move on to reports to council. The very first one is Councillor Mickle will be delivering the airport board minutes.
Thank you, Your Worship. The airport board met on Friday, July 14th, 8 a.m. at City Hall, and here's some of the business from that meeting. SMS report, there were no incidents reported in June. Under our maintenance items, a lighting plan. C&D Electric from Weyburn will be repairing the lighting on the east side of Taxiway C and also replacing all bulbs with new LED bulbs. Airport signs will be checked prior to work done to determine if they need a repair, and this work will take place between July 24th and August 4th. Airport fencing, the fence quotes are in, and city staff will now consult with Stuart Steel on fence material of choice and cost sharing. Line painting, lines will be repainted on runway 0624 taxiway this fall. In addition, hash marks will be added and the X's will be repainted. Under the asphalt that we just did at the airport, Southern Asphalt did the asphalt work at the airport from July 6th to the 8th. Work included the pad in front of the south gate to Taxiway C and west of Taxiway C in the area around the fuel tanks. There was a motion made that we send these people a letter of thank you for the quality work they did for us, and we appreciate that very much. Under airport contact personnel, a meeting will be held between airport management and city staff, bringing awareness on on-call city staff as to what their responsibilities may entail at the airport should they receive a call. Non-directional beacon procedures. NAV Canada will be no longer maintaining the NAV, our NDB runway 12 procedures at the airport as of June 20th of 2019. It will be removed from the publication at this time. It was also noted that most airports are discontinuing this service because we are using our GPS approaches. Currently, the city contracts Jim Hutchins for annual maintenance at the airport. A letter will be sent to Jim advising him that this will be decommissioned as of June 20th, June of 2019, sorry. And under our report from our managers, the concrete remaining under 2 lots of hangar demolition will be cleaned up before this fall, and routine grass cutting is on continually. The RM report, a letter will be drafted to an individual claiming damage resulting from snow removal at the airport. Contractors hired for future snow removal will be advised to use other isolated areas not near any neighboring airport properties. Aircraft movements, June there was 152 movements, 2 were STARS ambulance and 2 were air ambulance. Our next meeting, Your Worship, is 8 a.m. on Friday, September the 8th at City Hall.
Thank you, Councillor Mickle. Do we have a fire department report? Mr. Richards?
Thanks, Your Worship. The fire department report for the month of May. There were 17 calls for service in the month of May within the city of Weyburn. 6 automatic fire alarm activations comprised of the following property classifications: 2 multi-residential occupancies, 3 residential occupancies, and 1 commercial occupancy. Your Worship, there was 1 structural fire in the month of May. There were 2 burning complaints, 3 motor vehicle accidents, 1 car fire, 1 hazmat mitigation, and 1 garbage in the open fire. Total calls located in the city of Weyburn were 15. Rural calls, 1 mutual aid assistance to the Yellowgrass Fire Department and 1 motor vehicle accident. So a total of 2 calls in rural response areas. Those were the RM of Weyburn and the RM of Scott. Fire protection and public education activities, 107 property inspections and or follow-up inspections conducted, 3 fire hall tours, 6 fire drills, 2 occupancy load calculations, and of course the oil show was here, and there was 92.5 hours of participation by our fire department. Training and professional development went like this. 10 hours of training sessions were held for the paid on-call firefighters for a total training time of 120 hours. Career staff training hours for the month were 40. Training topics included health and safety, NFPA 1002 pump operations, driver training, aerial operations, responding software, STARS air ambulance landing procedures. Some miscellaneous notes, Your Worship. 26 notifications of rural burning were received and forwarded, broken down in the following RMs. The RM of Weyburn, there was 21, 1 each in the RMs of Lomond, Wellington, and Griffin, and 2 in the RM of Broken Shell. A total of 888 pounds of batteries were collected and sent away for recycling to Retrieve Technologies. 13 large breathing air cylinders were filled on a contract basis for oilfield safety operators. 8 small air cylinders were filled for other users. The new paging system software is installed and tested, and Everbridge user subscriber updates and deletions are being entered into the database. And that is the report, Your Worship.
Thank you very much, Councillor Richards. We'll have the Building Department report. Councillor Van Betju.
Thank you, Your Worship. This is the Building Department report for June 2017. During the month of June 2017, the City of Weyburn issued 8 building permits with a total construction value of $577,500. The permits were as follows: 6 permits issued for residential additions, alterations with a construction value of $54,500. 1 permit issued for a residential detached garage with a construction value of $23,000, and 1 permit issued for 1 dwelling unit with a construction value of $500,000. Year to date, we have issued 42 building permits with a total construction value of just over $3.5 million. And in 2016, year to date, the city had issued 43 building permits with a total construction value of just under $4 million. Development permits. In June 2017, we have issued 5 building development permits. Permits include development of expansion of existing chemical storage dock, alcohol and drug screening service, office expansion, and 2 mobile concessions. 1 home occupation was reviewed and issued in June 2017 for a small home office. 2 zoning requests were received, reviewed, and issued in 2017. This report was put together by licensed building official Amanda Kaufman.
Thank you. Any comments? If not, we shall make a note that those have been received and filed. Consent agenda, biannual business license report.
You just need the motion then, Your Worship? Yes, thank you. I move that the consent agenda as presented, the biannual building license report be accepted as presented.
Do I have a seconder?
I'll second that, Your Worship.
Discussion? Move to question. All in favor? Carried unanimously. Motions. Accounts payable.
Your Worship, I'm prepared to make the motion that the purchases in the amount of $456,104.85 from July 7th to July 19th, 2017 be passed for payment.
Your Worship, I'll second that motion.
Discussion? Move to question. All in favor? Carried unanimously. First Avenue Northwest condo sewer storm repair. Do you wish to speak to this?
It is recommended that the city award the work to A&B Concrete. It is recommended that the city award the work to A&B Concrete to install storm servicing in the back of lane located east of the Elgin apartment buildings, 475 First Avenue Northwest, and return the area to pre-construction conditions at a cost of $32,108. And I'm willing to answer questions from council if they have any on the project.
I guess the question I asked, how many people actually bid this job, Tom?
We had 3 invitational tenders for this project. There was A&B Concrete, NT Excavating, and Swayze were the firms that were asked.
And you did this by way of,
Invitational tender, because last council meeting, council had suggested they wanted to get this up and going before the end of July, so we had to do an invitational tender to meet the timelines, rather than go on the city's tender page and SAS tenders, so.
okay. Other questions? Are there going to, it's good. So,
Your worship.
move, go ahead.
I'd like to make a motion that the bid of A&B Concrete to install storm servicing in the back lane located east of Elgin Apartment Building 475 First Avenue Northwest and return the area to pre-construction conditions in the amount of $32,108 be accepted.
I'll second that, Your Worship.
Questions? Discussion? Move to question. All in favor? Carried unanimously. Mr. Williams, water meter replacement program.
Okay, this is a much bigger award for the city of Weyburn. There's, as most of the council is aware, the city of Weyburn was awarded a grant from the federal and provincial governments to cost 2/3 of this program. So the initial budget for the water meter replacement program, which is roughly about 20 years old right now, your water meters, existing water meters. So the city would be doing this project anyway, but it's good that the federal and provincial governments are cost sharing on this, so we get some support on that. So we had budgeted about $2 million for the water meter replacement program. Another part of this project is the lead water service replacement program. So what part of this contract is the contractor's going to identify those lead services, and then we'll replace them as part of this other contract. So it's probably roughly about another $2.5 million that'll become as part of this contract. But this guy isn't going to be doing the work. Public Works will be doing that work, or we'll do a tender for another underground contractor to do that. But we got to identify which services are lead. So anyway, we did a thorough evaluation. We had 4 submissions. And then we asked 3 of the firms to go through an interview process. So in a day and a half, we actually had administration and everybody was asking questions to the suppliers, and it was a unanimous decision. I mean, everybody, there's some really good questions and we had some really good presentations, but everybody was comfortable with the selection that was made, and we feel we're getting the best value for the city. So on that note, it's proposed that the city of Weyburn award the contract to Corex to facilitate the water meter replacement program for an initial cost of $1,874,224 and an annual cost of $42,036. And this recommendation was done with myself and city administration.
Questions? Mr. Van Betju?
I think, Mr. Williams, I think you had said that typically meters last about 20 years.
Yes.
And Weyburn's meters were at about 18 or 19 years?
They're 19-year-olds right now, yeah.
So we were due for a replacement right at this stage?
And you would be
regardless?
replacing them right now if you weren't, yeah. And last time, I think when the city replaced meters, it was a 3-year program, so it took.
Mr. Bickle?
Thank you, Your Worship. Tom, is there a deadline for funding on this project?
We have to have the project finished by March 31st of next year. So
Are we going to do it? Good answer.
Good question. We asked all the proponents, can you meet that deadline to make sure that the meters get replaced by that time? And 2 of the 3 said that they could do it at no additional cost, and this is one of the firms that said they could. The other firm said, well, we could do it, but it would cost you more. So that was one part of our decision-making process. Now, the service connection replacements, we had a discussion today with staff, and we're going to try to fast-track that. I think we're going to probably take the lead line identification out of this contract and then try to get Public Works to do that so we can get started replacing those water services sooner so we can make that deadline.
The reason why I asked the question, you realize we live in Saskatchewan and you got winter coming up. So
Yeah.
that window to March 31st doesn't give you much time to complete this project.
I agree.
I hate to put the panic on you, but
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Well, that's why we have to have a award tonight for the water meter replacement program. And if we tender the service replacement, we can get done. I mean, it's going to be tight, but The promise did say endeavor to do as much as you can to meet the deadline, and if we didn't make it, then they would consider it. So, but we want to try to make sure that we're trying to accomplish that deadline.
Thank you, Tom.
Mr. Chesson.
So what will be the difference between our old meters and the new meters, Tom?
These new meters there's no mechanical parts, they're ultrasonic meters, so they will maintain their accuracy for the life of the meter. And so I expect the city's going to be able to get a 10 to 15 to 20% recovery on water that you're not billing for right now. So you're going to see you're going to get a better recovery on the water you produce. So these meters have no moving parts, and they'll maintain their accuracy for the full 20 years.
There's also software that, so that the homeowner can watch?
Yes, so part of that 42,000 is a software. So every ratepayer can get an app on their phone, and they can tell how much water they're using, and city administration can actually, if somebody phones in and complains, my water bill's too high or there's some issue, they can tell to every 15 minutes when they turned on their water and forgot to turn it off, and you say, well, you start using water, and they can actually keep track of that. Or if a person goes on vacation and you've left your tap running or it's leaking, it can actually detect, that type of thing. So it's going to help administration answer questions and field calls, and it'll make their life, I think, significantly easier.
Mr. Mickle?
Tom, I have one more question. As a taxpayer and a user of water in the city, when you have something this new coming in, is it going to cost the individual user more money?
I suspect they'll recover, especially some of the older meters that aren't recovering, especially if there wasn't recording that you're charging water. So they might see an initial cost, but I think the city will be able to then reduce water rates or do something, but that's something but you'll have those numbers. You'll know what Shabir produces at the water plant, and you know what you're getting charged for. So you right now, the ratepayers are already paying for that loss. It's in their overall cost. We'll have a better handle of that now, so you'll probably reduce your water rates, or be able to, because you'll be paying or they'll be paying for all the water that's being used. So I don't know if that answers you. It's sort of a roundabout answer, but
No, you have answered my question, and you're being very honest about it, and I appreciate that. Because anything this new, there's usually a cost.
yeah.
Also, one other question on my, is that staff is going to be trained, city staff is going to be trained how to maintain these and how to replace them?
You're correct, Your Worship. That was part of the program. There's going to be a training program. So I think this supplier was going to train a couple of local plumbers to help with the install, but city staff are also going to be able to attend those training sessions, and they'll get trained as well. And then, of course, there's also the software training and the billing training that works with your current billing system. So that's all going to go with this program.
All of, as a part of the cost?
Part of the cost, yes.
Any further questions? Motion?
Your Worship, I'd like to make the motion that the bid of Corex to facilitate the water meter replacement program within the city of Weyburn at an initial cost of $1,874,224 and an annual cost of $42,036 be accepted.
Second?
I'll second that, Your Worship.
Questions? Discussion? All in favor? Carried unanimously. Introduction of bylaws. There are none, and there is no old business. New business, development permit application for 405 2nd Avenue Southeast. Go ahead.
Your Worship, a request has been submitted by C. Anderson Holdings Incorporated to place a new 1,300 square foot RTM dwelling at 405 2nd Avenue Southeast, Lot 1, Block 81, Plan AR 4506. The RTM is 24 feet wide by 58 feet long, single-family dwelling with a front covered veranda. The proponent has also advised that a detached garage will be constructed in the future. RTM dwelling units are a discretionary use in R3 residential zone and therefore require neighborhood notices and approval from council. This proposal will make a nice addition to the neighborhood, as this site has sat empty for a few years now. Neighborhood notices were circulated to all property owners within a 75-meter radius of the subject property, and there were no issues or concerns from the notices. In the case of the request to replace a new RTM dwelling at 405 2nd Avenue Southeast by C. Anderson Holdings Incorporated, staff recommends that council approve the placement of a new RTM dwelling with the following conditions. The new RTM dwelling shall comply with all minimum setback requirements as set out in section 6.2.3.4. Building permit applications shall be submitted, complete with site plan and construction details of the RTM prior to starting construction of foundation. Manufacturer inspections shall be included with building permit application, and landscaping compatible with neighborhood residential properties shall be completed within 2 years of the permit being issued.
Motion?
Just a question, Your Worship, of Jolene. Is there, when we reach out to the neighborhood, there was no feedback whatsoever on this particular one?
No, there was nothing submitted or even mentioned to us yet.
Any other questions?
No. Then, Your Worship, I'd be happy to make a motion that the development permit of C. Anderson Holdings, Inc. to place a new 1,300 square foot RPM dwelling at 405 2nd Avenue Southeast, Lot 1, Block 81, Plan AR 4506 be approved, subject to the recommended conditions.
Your Worship, I'd like to second that motion.
Discussion? Do we have a lot size, Jolene?
No, I don't, sorry.
Okay,
Your Worship, I know that it's 50 by 120.
okay.
Is that the
So,
one that, yeah, okay.
so that's why a narrow, I was just wondering whether that's why the narrower lot, house size would be needed, so. Move to question? All in favor? Carried unanimously. Are there any inquiries or announcements?
Just one announcement, Your Worship. I just want to mention the Mosquito AA Element Beavers, who a couple of weekends ago became provincial champions at a tournament in Swift Current. So just a quick congratulations out to that team.
Very good. Any other announcements? Laura?
We launched our online service where you can log in and see your utility bill or your property tax, and also sign up for e-billing. And so it went out on the 14th with your water bills, and we have 122 people signed up so far. So hopefully we get more.
Very good. So now with this, it's on our website where you can do all your e-billing? That pay property tax and water bills. Very good. Moving forward with our website. Any other announcements and inquiries? There's no notice of motions. If there's no further questions, then we shall move this meeting of the Weyburn City Council adjourned.